We're live on the outskirts of the capital, Budapest, at a track that's extremely popular with both the fans and our drivers. I'm talking, of course, about the Hungaroring, and we're about to begin the Hungarian Grand Prix. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour.
How the bloody hell are you, race fans? Umpire here, Black Flag Racing TV. And yes, it's Tuesday evening, which means Smoking Pirellis. And this time, it will work. It won't go wrong. We won't crash. We should be stable. The new PC's in place. The new software's in place. Everything's working. Nothing has died. And hopefully, it stays that way for the foreseeable. Yeah, well, what can I say? So, basically, where are we? We are at the Hungaroring. But we had a little race last week, and this is what happened. Forzan won the race for Alpine. Dusty, Cameron, Poulter, Chuckle brothers, they were the top 4. Pink Eye in 5th, Skills down in 6th. So Chuckle opens up that gap at the top of the championship. Sean, Lee Craig, Jinxie, or Jizzy, as he's known. Paul Jones Jr. rounded out that top 10. That was the results for the second half of the grid. Just 4 in that second half actually managed to finish the race with 6 DNFs in Curly, Death Peacock, Simo, F1 Immortal, Wasted, Naismith and Shin. All DNF last week. This is how it leaves the Drivers' Championship going into this, which is round number 9. Chuckle opens up a little bit of a gap at the top in the Haas from Skills Dan. He's on 313 points. That gap's starting to creep up. Skills Dan really needs a good finish today to close that gap down. Dusty in the AlphaTauri, 247 back in 3rd. In a bit of no man's land, he's not really close enough at the moment to make a challenge on Skills Dan. But I think far enough away from Vroom to have to worry too much at this stage. I think it's going to be a case of Chuckle versus Skills for the win, and then Dusty is basically just got to make sure he finishes some races and gets the job done for 3rd. But still plenty going on. Cameron Poulter, Sean 5th and 6th, Chuck in 7th, Panda is in 8th, Zach Johnson in 9th position, and Explicit Simo rounds out the top 10. And then you can see the rest of them on the right hand side, but no one cares about anyone that's on the top 10 because nobody likes them. That simple. I'm only joking, of course it's not that bad. Right, but constructors. Everyone wants to know how the constructors are doing. That's the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull lead the way by just 2 points. Haas in 2nd place with 473. That battle is going to go to the very last corner of the very last race. So close between those two. Alfa Romeo in 3rd. AlphaTauri in 4th. And that is a really, really close battle between them as well to round at that top 3. Not far off the back though, we've got Williams, Mercedes. Williams particularly only 23 points behind AlphaTauri. Can nick that 4th place with 1 race today. Mercedes 288. Ferrari on 241. Aston Martin 221. That's still a battle going on. Alpine at 219. And McLaren with 215. So basically those outside the top 5 still have a battle going on between them. We still don't entirely know where everyone's going to end up. But that's where we currently stand going into this round, which is at the Hungaroring. And we saw my mate Crofty talking about it earlier. And we're about 2 or 3 minutes away from qualifying. So I think the most important thing to do is find out who is involved this evening. This is our lobby. This is where we find out who's doing what. Everyone's starting to tick in, so we're getting ready to get this shizzle done. Simo's out there. David Barry. Not seen him before, so he's it looks like he's a reserve of some kind. Death Peacock. Just to remind you, if you didn't know, that is a death metal band from Norfolk. Skills down in a Red Bull vying. He really, really needs to beat Chuckle today. Explicit Tyson in the AlphaTauri. Prostituter or Pro Striker in the Alpine. Wasted in the Mercedes AMG. Cameron Poulter for Williams. Vroom for Mercedes AMG. The second Mercedes, of course. Comes after McLaren. Panda for the Ferrari. Watch the time of that before I get through the list. Ozansu Fan, Dusty Fakes, Lee Craig, Naismith, Paul Jones Jr., Blanks, Rose, and I think I'm close. Now, Rose's racing today. Now, anyone that watches on Thursday knows that he is damn quick. So, if I were you, I would watch out for that. Because genuinely, he is a very, very quick runner. And anyone that's trying to take him down will learn something very, very quickly. That
ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. You're going to have to work very, very hard. But we are literally going into qualifying right now. 20 seconds is the countdown. And I'll hand over now to my mate Sam.
Everybody strap in.
Thank you very much for that, Sam. And we're ready to go. I've got something very special for... let's not build it up. We will show it. We'll do an onboard lap basically in qualifying with somebody, and I've got something very special for them. Why have I got this view? I've got a really funny feeling I've gone into the wrong thingy. I didn't tick in for a spectator, did I? My bad. I wondered why I was getting a different menu. Right, let me go back in and tick in a spectator. Apologies for that, guys. Got all the equipment sitting in front of me and I can't even click a spectator button, but that's my fault. I will sort it out now. Apologies. That's that one. Let's go again, shall we? Idiot. See, I thought I pressed it, but I must have pressed it twice. No, it's trying to chuck me back into the race again. I don't want to go back into the race. I know, all the gear, no idea. The thing is, I did press it, but then I, Alright, are we, am I in the right place now? I am indeed. Yeah. I did press it, but I think I clicked it again when I picked up the controller. There we go, right, so. Everything's working, is it not? Yes, it is. Everything is working. Right, I want to go on board with... Where is he? I know he's... Have I seen him? I haven't seen him. Have we got no Chuckle Brothers tonight? That's a big, big blow. If there's no Chuckle Brothers racing tonight, that is a massive blow for him and a massive, massive boost for Skills Dan. There's no Chuck or Chuckle this evening. So big, big news that. Skills Dan is in a really, really good position. If he wins this race today, this is massive, massive, massive. So it kind of ruins my whole thing. I had something, but I'll have to wait till next week. Still got me down as in the pits, but I'm not racing. Apologies for that, guys. Right, let's go forward with Skills Dan. Track maps, I can see what everybody is. So, 14 calls it. It's a really good track. I know it's but I find it to be quite complicated the fact that all that straightforward. In that you really have to kind of have your wits about it for every single thing. Because you're not, I can see that. How's that? Is that better than that? I'll have to play around with the settings a little bit. The thing's obviously brand new, so I've had to start everything from scratch. I think that's much better now. I hope so. Anyway, a new mic is my next purchase. I just can't afford it at the moment. Can't afford it at the moment. Yeah, thanks very much for that, Aaron. To be fair, I did click in spectate, and then for some strange reason, I must have ticked myself out and not realised I'd done it. You know, shit happens. But no, the graphics do look amazing, and I do want to say thank you to Stormfire. Just popped up in the chat there. He actually got a load of the Black Flag guys together who got me this gear, and it is freaking awesome. I don't think I've ever owned a computer this powerful in my life. It is absolutely amazing. I am speaking into the microphone. That's how beautiful. I can turn the audio input down. There we go. How's that? Is that better? There we go. I think this mic probably needs improving because it's. I did notice earlier when I was doing a couple of bits and pieces that it was a little bit quiet. I'm actually gutted that Chuckle and Chuck are not here today because I prepared something very specially for them, and I really wanted them to be here. But I've got to do it because I spent some significant time doing this, so I'm going to stick it up over Skills Dan instead. You ready? Absolutely gutted they're not here today. I spent nearly an hour getting that prepared for them. Very inconsiderate of both of them to not turn up. Right, so Skills Dan putting in the hot laps. So far, we're 12 minutes in and we've got Zach Johnson on pole. David Barry, second position for him. Cameron Poulter in third. That's a 1:16.4. Very close between those top three at the moment. Skills Dan in fourth place currently. 1:16.6. Ideally, he needs pole and he needs a win today. That would absolutely boost that championship performance. Simo in fifth place. Blanks in sixth. They're just outside that sub 117 with 17.1, 17.2, 17.3 for Wasted, 17.5 for Death Peacock. Ozan Tufan, he is the first of the 118s. 118.1 for him. It's a 118.3 for Panda. You would have thought he'd be in a white and black car, being that his name's Panda, but clearly not. Vroom, 118.3 as well, very close to that. Explicit Tyson, 19.1. No one has ever confirmed if Explicit Simo and Explicit Tyson are actually related, or if it's just completely random that those two have the name Explicit, or they're part of the Explicit Racing team. I suppose that's a potential thing as well. Comzar, Rose, me, strangely, Naismith, Paul Jones Jr. and Dusty Fakes all still need to set a hot lap for us today. But Prostituta, or Pro Striker as he's more commonly known, is currently on pole with a 16.2 here at the Hungaroring, and that's a really, really solid time to be whacking on the board. Zach Johnson, still on row one with him. Row 2 is David Barry, Cameron Poulter. Skills Dan drops down to row 3. Still some work for them to do. Skills Dan's definitely got the pace, but it's whether he's got the knowledge and the ability on this particular track. You do that time in a van, do you? I would like to. Do you know what? Aaron, jump in, man. This is coming towards the end of this season. We don't race on Tuesdays. We do race on Thursdays. We don't race this early on a Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday leagues will have spaces. Jump in, mate, and prove a point. Jump in your van and prove a point. To be fair, he is pretty quick. And he's very quick at Zandvoort. And yeah, he'd be very quick around here because it's a home track for him. I wouldn't be surprised if you were jogging around this every morning when you went on holiday to Hungary. Right, so Rose, we don't often see him on a Tuesday. We normally see him on a Thursday, and he's too damn quick on a Thursday, and proves exactly why he is knocking on the door of the Thursday Tier 1 Championship, because he's just put in a 1:15.9 to whack himself on pole position ahead of Prostituta. So it's him and Prostituta on the front row. Zach Johnson, David Barry on row 2. Row 3 is Cameron Poulter with Dusty, who is currently vying for third in the championship. Skills Dan behind him, currently second in the championship, but in a unique position with no championship first place contender out there today, that he can retake the lead of this championship as Komzar puts himself onto the 6th position. That is clearly row 3, if for those of you that can count. Paul Jones Jr. And Simo on row 5. Blanks and Wasted at row 6. Death Peacock. And Lee Craig on row 7. Ozan Fan is with Panda on row 8. Row 9 is Vroom and Explicit Tyson. And on the back row is me and Naismith. Idiot that I am. Not clicking the spectator button. I can guarantee you I will not be qualifying in a Haas today. Mainly because my time will be somewhere around the 1:28 or something ridiculous. Also because my steering wheel is not currently connected to anything, because I moved it out of the way to reorganise my setup. So I can't drive at the moment as it is, and I can't use pads like normal people. What else can we say? 7 minutes left of qualifying. We need some guys to go out there and stick in some hot laps for us. Who is on a hot lap now? That is Zach Johnson coming in the pits. What about David Barry? Is he on a hot lap? I want someone to do a proper lap guide for me. I'm actually thrown, because my entire plan was settled around going on board with Chuckle and then halfway around the lap whacking his video up. But it's kind of screwed me over a little bit, and I'm very disappointed. In fact, I feel like he deserves a little bit of slack for letting me down in such a way. To be fair, he didn't know he was letting me down, so I let him get away with it. Let him get away with it. Right. It's so frustrating, because I'm actually watching this on one little screen, because the big screen connected to the PlayStation is a temporary one while my main screen is being repaired, and it's not got the processing capacity to deal with the data coming through to it from the new video card, which is very painful. But it is what it is. So Cameron Poulter on board with him at the moment in the Williams. He looks like he's on an outlap right now, and he's going relatively quickly into sector 3. So we'll have a good look at how quick he is round this lap. He needs to do a sub 16 if he wants to get on pole. He needs to do a sub 17, which he's already done, to stay up in that top half. So basically 1:16.4 is his quickest lap. So he rounds that last corner, starts blasting up towards the start finish line, and here he goes. He's got a nice clear track. It does mean that he's got no slipstream, but he'll have nice clear track. He'll have DRS into turn 1. This big right-hander sweeping around this right-hand side, almost coming all the way back on yourself. And then you head back down towards the kind of infield behind the grandstands for this left-hander, which goes on almost forever. Then straight into this right-hander, and then up the road. He's got a car just on the side of the road and stand out of his way out. Another left-hander here, only a little lift for that one, before you come down to another braking zone, down to 4th gear, and you go round to the right-hand side. Another little jink to the right before it kinks left. Almost a chicane that. Another left-hander, a little bit of braking to get through there. And it is literally, it's almost S after S after S, this track. Heading down, another little kink to the left before right-hander again, into sector 3. And it's 3 big braking zones here. Here's the first one. You want to get on that power as quickly as possible, because you've only got a short blast down to the penultimate turn. 3rd gear, get turned in, and again you're switching back on yourself before you start blasting through the final turn, which takes you down to the start finish line. There are 2 DRS zones here, and they're both in sector 1. There is nothing sector 2 and sector 3, so that's where you're going to pick up your time. And Cameron Poulter does a really good job there and gets himself onto row number 2 with that 1:16.0. Prostituta is on pole position and has sold his soul and has found himself pole position 1:15.914. That is just 400 quicker than Rose. And Rose, bear in mind that Rose is banging on the door of Tier 1 champion on Thursdays. So he's no slouch by anybody's reckoning. David Barry, I've not seen him race before. I'm sure he has done, but I've not seen him on a Tuesday before. He's done a 1:16.0 and clearly got a little bit of pace. And Skills Dan let me know that it's a dry day. And while he is listening, make your fifth. Sort your shit out. You, if you want this championship, you've got to capitalise on it while this guy's not here. So childish, I can't believe I couldn't get to get through. I'll still be there next week. I'm acutely aware there's loads of people not from the UK who don't have a fucking clue what that reference is to. And that makes it kind of funnier that nobody knows what that reference is. But there we go. This is no time for drinking, mate. You got a championship to win, my friend. You are. I've never met anyone say, right, I'm just going to have a beer. You know, I'm second in the championship. There's only a couple of races left. I'm just going to get drunk and drive a bit. Not a bad shout. Oi, Jizzy. Oi, oi. Why are you not racing today, Jizzy? Very disappointing that you're not racing today. Particularly because I've got that for you. Very, very disappointed that you didn't turn up for one of them and Chuckle didn't turn up for one of them. It's almost like I'm putting all this work in for nothing. Right, what we got? We haven't got much time left. Let's have a quick run down. Pro Striker or Prostituter on pole with Rose. They're both sub 1:16 on the front row. Row 2 is David Barry with Cameron Poulter. Cameron Poulter just chucked himself there with a 16.0, couple of hundredths behind David Barry. The current second in the championship, Skills Dan and Blank's teammates, of course, were 4th and 5th. Well, sorry, they weren't. Yeah, they were until Cameron Poulter went in there. They're now 5th and 6th, 16.2, 16.3. Zach Johnson with Dusty Fakes on row 4. Comzar with Paul Jones Jr. It does sound like the child of a rock star, doesn't it? Paul Jones Sr. on the drums. They're in on row 5, 9th and 10th. Wasted and Simo on row 6. Row 7 is Lee Craig and Naismith. His 14th place for him. His teammate Chuckle not out there today. Death Peacock and Vroom. 15th and 16th. 17th and 18th is Ozanti Fan and Panda. Explicit Tyson and right at the back of the pack, me in the pits because I'm not doing it. Yeah. What we need is one of you to send me a little reminder. And to be fair, it's the first time. It's the first time in every F1 stream, even when I first started doing it, that I've forgotten to, or the race has started to before I've checked in. And to be fair, I blame the room host, to be honest, because as the host, it's your job to make sure everyone's checked in properly. Simple as. I'm laying it on you, firmly back on you. So, yellow flags out there shouldn't affect qualifying too much. We are going to have a nice dry race today, which makes a bloody change. Too much rain in the last few races. They lost, 6 last week. Didn't miss that race last week. And actually, it looks like I missed a really good one last week because my computer was on the verge of just exploding and everything went horribly, horribly wrong. Yeah, there was just no excuse for that awful, awful picture. But lovely and clear this evening. And it's quite interesting, actually. We just put up a reveal video for Late Night Racing that comes up after this on a Tuesday for Season 7, which starts next week. And it was quite interesting seeing the evolution of the video quality from week 1 to week 10. The overlays obviously got better over time, but the video quality was fucking woeful, to be fair. I don't know how you guys are stuck around with it, to be honest. But I mean, looking at it now, looking at the difference, I can see how bad it was, and I hope you enjoyed the new video quality. And thank you again, Stormfly. I promise I won't cry again. Pro Striker is on pole. No real time left to set anything else unless you are on a super hot lap now. Can't see that being beaten at the moment though. Pro Striker on pole. Rose joins him on that front row. David Barry, Cameron Poulter, row 2. Skills Dan and Blanks, both in the Red Bull racing car. Zach Johnson, Dusty Fakes, Comzar and Wasted. That's your top 10. Then Lee Craig, Paul Jones Jr., Explicit Simo, Vroom, Naismith, Panda, Death Peacock, Ozan Tufan, Explicit Tyson, and that is your 19 runners, because I'm clearly not racing, which would be ridiculous. So just waiting for the final few to make it back into the pits. Then we will get cracking with this race here at the Hungaroring. And this is round number 9. And there are not many races left at all. This is pretty much close to being a decider for the championship. It's certainly going to close the gap. You know, wherever Skills Dan's finishes, Skills Dan's, as long as he doesn't crash out on that one and not finish the race. Essentially, that's what he has to do. He has to finish the race. If he finishes the race, he scores points, and it closes the gap. Ideally, he'll want to finish in first, and not only close the gap, but overtake Chuckle for the championship thus far. That said, anything is better than nothing. That's what's really important. We have just one race left after this, and it is in Italy at Imola for the final Grand Prix of the series. So there is your final grid. It is Rose from Comzar in the Williams and McLaren, Aston Martin Alpine of David Barry and Pro Striker. Dusty Fakes, that's a great lad from Comzar, she's jumping there lastminute.com. Dusty Fakes in the AlphaTauri, Cameron Poulter in the Williams, 5th and 6th, Skills Dan and Blanks in the Red Bulls. The 2 Alphas, Zach Johnson, Explicit Simo, 9th and 10th. Wasted in the Mercedes, Lee Craig in the Fezza, Paul Jones Jr. in the Aston Martin, Vroom in the Mercedes AMG Petronas, Naismith in the Haas. It's Panda, 25. That's how many years he's gone without having sex with his wife, because that's what pandas do. He's in the Ferrari. Death Peacock in 17th in the Alpine. Ozan Tufan in the McLaren. Explicit Tyson in the AlphaTauri, and we got through all 19 without the time running out, because that's the way I roll. How about that?
How dare you?
How dare you indeed. So I'm probably going to have to exit again and spectate again, because I'm an idiot. But I love the fact it got pointed out to me immediately. Coming up after this evening from 9 o'clock, we've got the pre-season F1 tournament for late night racing. Then tomorrow we've got the Open GR3 round 7, I think we're round 6 of the Open GR3 over on GT7. I'm not going to have a rant about how shit the lobbies are on GT7 since the VR2 came out, but they're fucking dog shit. Anyway, moving on. On Thursday we're back with Smoking Pirellis for their Tier 1 on a Thursday. We won't get to see Chuck and Chuckle there either, so I'm going to have to bin that till next week. Well, we might do. I haven't seen them on Thursday yet, but we might do. Friday, it's Eurotrips F1, and then no more Porsche Cup because it's done, so I actually get to go to bed early, or maybe actually do some bit of racing myself for a change. So here we go. It's got me in the race. We're going to have to exit, aren't I? Because that's just the way it rolls, isn't it? I know it has got me in spectator mode, that's alright, let me off. Got away with it. So, this is the formation lap. Does it actually have me as a car on the track? That'd be awesome. It does, that's me. Look at me, there I am. It's awful, isn't it? Absolutely awful. So, Rose lead them out with Comzar. David Barry, a prostituta. I should have done him a little thingy, shouldn't I, instead of wasting my time on Chuck and Chuckle today. Dusty Fakes, Cameron Poulter, Skills Dan, Blanks, Zach Johnson, Explicit Simo, Wasted, Lee Craig, Paul Jones Jr., Vroom, Naismith, Panda, Death Peacock, Ozan Tufan, Explicit Tyson. But there's your man Rose, and he has absolutely smashed this today. Pole again for him, and it's not the first time that he's chucked one of those in, is it? Simply very, very quick. We'll see how he gets on for the rest of this race. usually what happens is he disappears off the road, nobody catches him, then we come in the pits and someone catches him, and then he disappears off the road again. That's usually what happens when Rosé's racing. Occasionally it goes horribly wrong for him, but not often. I think, in fact, I mean, Skillsdown's down in 7th. It's going to take some racing there. I mean, Cameron Poulter's no slouch. Dusty's 3rd in the championship. He's 3rd for a reason. Pro Striker, since he's come in, he's been brilliant. Not seeing David Barry, but I'm assuming he's not shit because he's 3rd. Comzar, great lap from them, and Rosé obviously very, very quick. So I think Skillsdown wins this race today.
What happened here was a miracle, and I want you to fucking acknowledge it.
And believe me, if he does, I will fucking acknowledge it. But thank you for that, Sam. Can you get back in your box, please? Because you're scaring the children. Right, so here we go. We will go on board with Cameron Poulter for the start of this race, because we can't go on board with Chuckle because he's not fucking here. Anyway, here we go. Cameron Poulter will lead us out for the first lap. Just waiting for the lights to change, and then this gets going. That's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 lights. The lights go out and away we go. And that's a good start. Big lock up from Pro Striker, and he's already dropping down the order. Absolutely dropping. And look at that AlphaTauri of Dusty Fakes trying to dive through the middle and take 2nd place, and absolutely bang on it. And that's a great run from Dusty Fakes, and Cameron Poulter up to 4th place. Good start from them, slotting in nicely into the start of this race. Tyres. What we got, peeps? That's what we got. Pretty well, in fact, nobody starting on the soft compound tyres, and that's because they are bloody awful around here. They do not last very long at all. Rosé on those hard compound tyres is going to be under a little bit of pressure early on from Dusty Fakes on the mediums. David Barry. Yeah, Dusty did a great move from Dusty. Absolutely great move. And thank you for that, Jizzy. That's all for you, Jizzy. Dusty up to 2nd place. David Barry he's in 3rd. He's on the hard compound tyres. He's going to have to hold off the charge of Cameron Poulter. And Cameron Poulter is right there, right on top of him, looking to find a way through. And there's lots of good corners for overtaking here. So not the easiest place to defend. Comzar, great qualifying up to 2nd, but already, and there's a spin. Cameron Poulter turns round, and let me be clear about something, Cameron.
You can't park that there, mate. You can't park that there, mate.
Just to emphasise that point, how far down did he drop? He's down into 13th place after that little spin. Vroom moving up ahead of Ozan Tufan. So let's have a full rundown. Rosé, half a second up from Dusty Fakes. Currently 3rd in the championship, and this actually closes the gap on the back of Skillsdown. David Barry is in 3rd, already out of DRS zone, and will get DRS active at the end of lap 2. Comzar in 4th place. He's on the hard compound tyres. Skillsdown also on hards. Prostituta, he's lost loads of places, but running in 6th place. He's on the hards and can go longer. Dusty Fakes needs to, in order to make those mediums work, needs to just get an overtake done. Get ahead of Rosé and try and build a gap. Zach Johnson, 7th place for him. 6th, 10th back from Pro Striker. Paul Jones Jr. on the hard compound tyres in 8th. Then we've got a nice run of medium tyre runners in Naismith, who just makes the move on Blanks up into 9th place. And Blanks trying to hang on, but he's got Lee Craig all over the back of him. Lee Craig looking for a way through. Fastest lap there on lap 3 from Dusty, and really pushing to try and take Rosé when he can. Behind, this is Explicit Tyson and Cameron Poulter making moves. Cameron Poulter has got a lot of significant work to do now after spinning so early on in this race. And it's so much harder here than any other racing simulator to make those places up, because you know, you chuck one up the inside, you lose a wing, it can all go horribly wrong. Cameron Poulter in 12th, Ozan Tufan in the McLaren, he's in 13th position, already 4.5 seconds back from that front 12. Then Panda 25, 2 seconds back from Ozan Tufan, as we see Death Peacock and, strangely me, I'm not even racing, Why does it say me if I'm not even racing that hard? So I don't know what's going on there. Surely I should be losing places, not gaining them. In 17th place I am now. I tell you what, if I finish this race and don't come last, I want a championship trophy because I've not even got in the freaking car. I suppose it could have been worse. It could have put me in Lewis Hamilton's car. Then I would have been pissed. Vroom in 17th place. Explicit Tyson is up to 18th. Blanks is in 19th place. He's had to change out his tyres, so obviously repaired some damage. And then right at the back of the pack, there is the other explicit driver, Simo. He's also had to jump into the pits and get some fresh shit on. I want to have a look at position change. Because it's a big loss for Explicit Simo. He's 10 places lost for him, 11 places lost for Blanks in 19th. Somehow, without even getting in the car, I've gained 3 places. Do love little bugs in the game like this one. Clearly, I'm not on the track, and it's still got me racing, but to be fair, it was my fault. Tyson gaining 1 place. Rose started on pole, is on pole. Nothing changed there. And Cameron Poulter is out of this race. And that is our first safety car. And I've got to say, Cameron, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. Did you crash somewhere on the track? I don't see a broken Cameron Poulter anywhere. Oh, yes, I do. There he is. So we've got some of this now.
I crashed.
You crashed? How are you coming fast?
Yeah, why are you coming fast, man? You crashed. So you will be a DNF in this race. So, Rose jumping into the pits. Does anyone else follow him in and take the initiative? Well, none of the hard tyre runners will, but there might be a couple on the mediums that feel it's worthwhile doing. How many places is Rose going to lose, though, going in when nobody else does? And how risky does that make this move? Because at the moment, he's right down, almost outside the top 10, as they tuck him behind the Aston Martin safety car. Just want to pass over to our eco correspondent.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
Sorry about that, Greta. We'll try not to do that again. Let's burn some more petrol. Yeah! Dusty Fakes takes the lead of this race because the previous leader, Rose, is into the pits. He's now down 8 places, but lots of good places going for Dusty. That's 4 for him. David Barry up 1. Skills Dan is up 4 places. Pro Striker started in 4th, is 4th. Still under safety car here. It's lap 5 of 35 here at the Hungaroring. This is round 9 of season 7 of the Tuesday League for Smoking Pirellis F1. We've got 1 race left after this at Imola to decide the championship. As it stands, Kilsdan? Well, if he's dead, he can't win, can he? Skills Dan is running in 3rd position. And that will be enough to retake the lead of this championship, I think. I can't actually remember. Shall we have a look? Let's do that. Let's have a quick little looky see. Because I think... it might not be enough. It won't be enough, actually. He needs to win this race. So he's on 313 points. That puts him 26 points behind Chuckle. So that's what he's got to do. He needs 26 points. I can't remember how many points for a win. I'm sure it's 50 points for a win, isn't it? If you can remind me, the easiest way to find out is to do that, isn't it? Yeah, 50 points for the win. So there is a potential for 50 points. So he can take the lead. If he comes 3rd, he'll get 40. That's enough to take the lead of this championship. So he can still do it. But he'll want to get the maximum points available and make the gap as big as possible. Still under safety car here. We're under safety car because we lost Cameron Poulter from this race. Running from 19th backwards, Blanks 8.1 or 7.7 seconds back, whenever you looked at that screen. Simo in 18th, Wasted is in 17th place. Tyson in 16th, Komza in 15th. Strangely, I'm in 14th place. Who knows? Can I make it to the end on medium tyres? That's the question. Vroom is in 13th. Death Peacock in 12th. I might do actually. Jump in. Oh, you're not in this Discord though, are you? No. Are you in? You're not in the Smoking Pirellis Discord though. You can't jump in the dual comments because it's linked to theirs. Panda 25. He's in 11th place. Ozanti Fan in 8th. Rose in 9th position. Lee Craig in 8th. He is behind Naismith, who is the sole Haas runner. Ignore the fact that I'm out there, it means nothing. Paul Jones Jr. in 6th place. He is behind Zach Johnson. Pro Striker in 4th. That's where he qualified. That's where he currently is. Skills Dan, sitting second in the championship and will be, bar a big crash, leading the championship going into the last race at Imola next week. David Barry in 12th place and Dusty Fakes in the lead of this race. If it stays like this, that gap will close immensely in the top 3. And we are back underway again here at the Hungaroring, and Dusty Fakes leads them away. In terms of tyres, most people now, I imagine, after pit stops, etc., are on the hard compound tyre. And I'm wrong, because most people are actually on the medium compound tyre, which for me is quite surprising. But that's because a lot of people didn't go in. I think only Comzar and Wasted and Rose were the only ones that went in under the safety car. Pro Striker picks up a penalty, along with those anti-fan and Lee Craig down in 19th. You have to be a difficult prick, don't you? Hold the line, caller, while I get a. How are you going to watch the race and commentate with me? You can't even get in the room. Such a bellend. You do realise there's a delay, don't you? From what you can see to what I'm broadcasting. Let me see. Let's test it. Why not? Let's test it, see if it works. Hold the line, caller, while we're going to test the dual comms. I need to find the right Discord first. That'd be useful. Talk amongst yourselves while I see if I can get this knobhead in. The answer to that question, Daryl, is an emphatic no. I can't even get into it at the moment. Hold on. Try that one. No, I can't get to work even on the LNR one, mate, so we'll have to sort that out another time, unfortunately. Oh, to test later. I thought you meant that today. No, it will work in the LNR one, but it'll only work when I'm on the LNR stream. I can't switch between. The problem is I've got to leave their one on there because I do the interviews afterwards. I thought you meant now. No, it is working for later. Dusty Fakes leads the way from David Barry. David Barry in behind on those hard tyres. If he can stay within that DRS zone on those hard tyres, that gives him a really unique opportunity to pull away from Skills Dan, who's currently in 3rd. He's out of the DRS zone at the moment, 1.2 seconds. Pro Striker, he is back in 4th place. He's also on the hard tyres, but crawling all over the back of Skills Dan at the minute. And that's not what somebody who's vying for the championship wants to see. That's mostly what Lewis Hamilton sees, is someone crawling over the back of him. Usually on a Saturday night when they're not racing. Oh, a little bit wobbly there, Pro Striker. Could have very easily lost the back end of the car then, but did keep it under control. Good racing from him to do that. Zach Johnson just behind, and that's the view from his car. He's involved in that battle too, only half a second back. And it is a little bit of a DRS train. When we get into Sector 1, there's 2 DRS zones, remember, in Sector 1. When we get into, well, I say 2 in Sector 1, and one starts in Sector 3, but it's mostly in Sector 1. And ironically, the DRS detection zone in Sector 2 is halfway through the first DRS zone. So, Zach Johnson's involved there. It's half a second to Paul Jones Jr. Rose looking at making a move. Does he make that move stick? No, he doesn't. He's going to have another crack now. This is going to be DRS open for him. And we'll see him come across the line. Watch this. There's that back wing open. Here we go. Can he make the move stick here? Trying to defend. Paul Jones Jr. cannot keep him at bay. And he makes that move. And that's a position gain for Rose up to 6th place. Next target for him, Zach Johnson, who is half a second up the road. But is that a comeback? And there's a coming together. Some cars have absolutely melted each other. That has gone horribly, horribly wrong. And it's really bad.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
So Rose down to 11th place. And Komzar, meanwhile, putting in the fastest lap at the back of the pack. We have lost Lee Craig from this race now. It's not good. It's not good when we're seeing these quick guys like Rose crashing. So this just plays into the hands of Skills Down and Dusty Fates, who at the moment running 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Skills first, 2nd obviously, and Dusty 3rd. They're in a great position right now because Dusty's leading the way. He's 2.1 seconds clear now in the AlphaTauri from David Barry. And we're on lap 11 of 35. We're almost at the 1/3 distance here at the Hungaroring. And the AlphaTauri just pulling away at the moment from David Barry. And the longer this race goes on without a safety car, the better it plays into his hands. Not sure how far these medium tyres go, but I imagine they're going to be taking them somewhere like lap 18, lap 17, just to get it towards the end, just to so those hard tyres are serving them well towards the end of the race. David Barry's on the hard compound tyres. He will have the benefit of the quicker medium tyres at the end of the race. And that's Pro Striker out of this race. Has he crashed? Just seeing if we can see him on the track. And yes, we have. He has crashed. Pro Striker is out of this race. And that is very disappointing.
Oh, shit.
Or something along those lines.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
That's probably more likely. But he is out of the race now. And that brings us another safety car.
How dare you?
Yes, how dare you indeed. Because I'm not allowed in. Well, I've always moaned about how it would be really cool if I could get in the car, in the safety car. I suppose, technically, I could do that. Because I've got that car now. That car belongs to me. It's got my name on it anyway. But how am I still not last? I genuinely haven't driven the car. And yet I'm not last. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So, time for a full rundown. So, quite a lot jumping the pits there. Naismith, Ozan, Vroom, Rose, Death Peacock, Tyson, all diving into the pits. So, we talked about him not being in the best position to win this race. And then a few safety cars happen, or 2 safety cars happen, and then where are we at? That's where we're at. Skills Dan leads this race. 11 laps in, and here we are. Skills Dan will take the lead of the championship behind the safety car as it stands right now. It will be a Skills versus Chuckle battle for the championship next week, and Chuckle better turn up. It sucks, man. It absolutely sucks. It's one of those things, I suppose. You got to be prepared that the car in front of you might break. That's the one thing about the F1 over. Who does me? Or Nathan? Say Nathan deserves that, mate, not me. It's it's of all the kind of racing simulator games. Although it's quite limited in terms of the cars you can use, you've got a choice of well, essentially when it's equal performance, you've got a choice of 1, because it doesn't matter what colour your car is. If you're not equal performance, you've got a chance of 10, a choice of 10. But the fact that damage is in there, it's always that kind of great leveler. That it doesn't matter how quick you are or how good you are, it's easy to bin it, it's easy to lose it, it's easy to make a mistake. And we've seen everybody, you know, from the fastest guys like Dan and like Chuckle and like Dusty, right through to the guys at the back of the pack, all make mistakes. And it really does mix things up. And it makes it worth watching, because you never know. Even in F1 itself, it's that easy for a mistake to happen, something to go wrong, something to go a little bit differently, a piece of the car to break, you know, a tyre to go, that completely changes the entire shape of the race. As we stand, Skills Dan leads from Panda 25. Dusty Fakes in 3rd place. He's 3rd in the championship. He's 3rd on the racetrack. He's on new, fresh, hard compound tyres. Do they go 22 laps? If anyone is in chat can tell me if they know if those hard tyres can do 22 laps. Because I don't, because I didn't bother testing, because I don't bother doing that. Safety car is in this lap, so it's going to be 22 racing laps as well. Or 21 21 racing laps, after I catch the wabbit, of course. Blank's in 4th place. Wasted is in 5th. He's got David Barry just behind him in 6th place. Simo in 7th. Then we've got the hard tyre run, so they will just about make it, you think. Okay. Well then, potentially Dusty could win this race, because we know Skills and Panda have got a pit. I think it depends on those medium tyre runners behind that, of course. Zach Johnson in 8th place. Naismith is in 9th. Ozan Tufan in 10th. And we are back underway here on lap 14 of 35 at the Hungaroring. This is Black Flag Racing TV. Smoking Pirellis, Tuesday League Season 7, round number 9. Skills Dan, currently 2nd in the championship, leads the way. His championship contender, Chuckle, didn't turn up today, which means he will retake the lead of this championship and take it down to the wire, down to round number 10 at Imola next week. Skills Dan lead from Panda. They're both on the hard compound tyres. They have burned 13 laps on those tyres. I've been told by fingers, I'd say on good authority, but it was by fingers, so it's probably not that much good authority, that they probably can do 22, 23 laps. I can't imagine that Skills or Panda is going to want to be taking them anywhere near that, and will probably be getting rid of them somewhere around 20 laps and onto those medium compound tyres. The mediums, they're quicker, they've got more grip. That's exactly what they're going to need to keep this at the end of the race. There's Blanks trying to make some big moves on Panda. He is not content with sitting back there in 3rd. He wants to join his teammate in the front too. And he's on those medium compound tyres, which gives him that extra traction coming out of the corner here. No DRS yet, of course, because we've just had a safety car. And David Barry, what an exit he got out of there. Is he going to make this move? As we see Blanks just going side by side. Blanks makes the move. Blanks up into 2nd. And Panda just has to accept.
Denied.
And back into 3rd place. And it's David Barry's turn to have a little go on the back of Panda. So what you're saying is, Fingers, essentially, you need a safety car to help you get through it. Because if you can't go full push, you might as well change out your tyres, because these guys are not slow. David Barry running just behind Panda and looking pretty darn racy. But Zach Johnson in the Alfa Romeo, not going slowly either. And look who's behind him. That's Rose. He's in the Williams. He's on medium compound tyres, and we know how super quick he is. There is a problem in Sector 2. Who's dead? Nobody's dead. Everyone seems to be still on the racetrack. Wasted in 7th place. He's also involved in about that. Is at the moment a really good battle for the top 3. Panda Barry, David Barry, Zach Johnson, Rose, Wasted, all vying for 3rd. As Skills Dan has pulled out 3.1 seconds over his teammate Blanks, who currently sits in second. The gap from David Barry to Blanks, now he's got round him 1.6 seconds. Then we go back to the next little gaggle on the racetrack. So Zantu Fan there in the McLaren. He's got Death Peacock behind him. In ninth place, Explicit Simo, half a second back. That's the little battle going on between them for 8th. Ozantu Fan with a penalty. That'll put him at the back of that battle when that penalty gets served, as will Explicit Simo. Probably go behind Comjar Naismith. Comjar in 11th. Naismith in the Haas in 12th place. 7/10 behind. Explicit Tyson. He's explicit because he says fuck a lot, apparently. 1.1 seconds he is back from Naismith. And Dusty, who has led this race, is back in 14th position. 1.2 seconds behind Tyson. Paul Jones Jr. is 4.8 seconds ahead of me, who hasn't yet once even touched my steering wheel, and yet finds myself... oh no, I've just been overtaken by Vroom. Great overtake there by Vroom on me. But at least I'm still running. Pro Striker, Lee Craig, and of course Cameron Poulter are not. So suck it, boys, suck it. Skills Dan leads away 2.8 seconds. The gap's come down a little bit, but he is doing exactly what he needs to do. His teammate on the medium combat tires will have to pit sooner than him, and that will be imminent, I think. 12 laps he's done on those medium compound tyres, Blanks. He's going to have to think about getting rid of them soon and switching out for the... actually, saying that, has Blanks already run the hard compound tyre? Because if he has, he can maybe run these a bit longer and finish on the mediums just as Skills Dan has. I don't think there's a way I can tell, is there? I don't think... well, that's why I can tell by stops. He's done 2 stops. It's very possible he's already run those hard compound tyres. Bearing in mind he's on those mediums now. So he's done 2 stops and he's behind Skills Dan. That's a little bit worrying for Dan's pace, really, because everyone behind him, bar Panda and me, of course, has stopped at least once in this race. And his teammate just behind him, just 2.1 seconds behind him, has stopped twice. As Rose on that charge, as and there he goes up into 4th place, making the move on Zach Johnson. And it's bye-bye Zach Johnson. And hello 4th place.
How dare you!
And Zach Johnson is just head in hands.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
They were empty words, Rose. Empty words, but a great overtake. David Barry's his next target. That's 2.2 seconds. No doubt in my mind that he'll be closing that down pretty darn quickly. David Barry is floating around the back of Blanks at the minute, looking for a way through. That's the gap. And once he gets out of Sector 2 and 3, he'll have a couple of DRS zones to be playing with. And that could very well change the shape of this front 3 with David Barry. Is he going to make the move beforehand? He's certainly looking at it, but he's a lot closer. You can see up in the distance, that Skills Dan, who at the end of this race, if nothing happens to him, if he doesn't crash, will be in the lead of this race. I can't believe I just properly commentator cursed him, didn't I? So here we go. Good exit here from David Barry, and we could be seeing a little overtake going on the back of Blanks. And Blanks is ahead. Rear wing open for him? Absolutely not. It is open for David Barry though. He's going to get DRS up into the overtaking zone. He makes the overtake and Blanks goes very wide. Has to tuck in behind. He's in 3rd place as Rose closing down on this battle. Just 1.1 seconds behind. He's not going to get DRS this time round, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if on the next lap we see Rose making a charge towards those front 3. The gap to Skills Dan is down to 1.9 seconds. And I tell you what, if I was him, I'd be afraid. Be very afraid. I need one for that, don't I? I'd be afraid, be very afraid thingy. I should give you some of that when you one of them. But Skills Dan, 1.6 seconds now. David Barry is on a massive charge. Of course, Skills Dan on the hard compound tyres. He will need to change them out for the mediums at some stage. And I imagine that'll be relatively shortly. Maybe he's kind of holding up a lap or two now for a potential safety car. But, yeah, I think it's going to be quite brutal how many places he's going to lose when he does come in, if we don't get a safety car. And the only thing worse than not getting a safety car when you want one is getting one just after you've pit. That would be awful. Now we know he's having a few berries, which is explaining why. To be fair, he's driving better after a few beers than I do sober, which is quite worrying. David Barry in second place now. He's closed that gap to nearly under a second. Rose's up into third. He's made the move on Blanks. He is on a massive charge. Blanks dropping out of the order a little bit. He's already had 2 stops. Is he going to have to stop again and get some fresher tyres to get to the end of this race? That's the big question. But Rose up to third place. Told you this boy had pace, didn't I? He's very, very quick. Why are you coming fast? I'm coming fast because I'm Rose. Skills Dan is in the lead, but how much longer? Because the view from the back of his car is all the front wing of David Barry, 94. Now that could be the year he was born. That could be how many toes he has on his left foot. It could be how many pairs of socks he owns. It could be his door number. Who knows? It could be how old he is, to be fair. But I can't see it. Can you imagine a 94? Well, to be fair, I mean, if any of us make it to 94, we'll probably be doing this shit with 94. There'll be virtual reality porn mostly. Which apparently, don't quite know, apparently Skills Dan already has. David Barry in second place, really closing down on the back of Skills Dan. Does not want him to make that charge up the championship order. Rose in behind, third place for him, 9/10 back. He's in that DRS zone. He's going to get a little bit of assistance through sector 1 to close up. But the way David Barry's driving in a minute, like an absolute man possessed. He's had a stop already. Rose's had 2. But he's really doing an excellent job sticking with Skills Dan. He did, of course, qualify in third place. 9 laps already on those medium tyres. Not entirely sure if they will make it to the end, because we're on lap 12. I can't see how they can make it to the end. If the hard compound tyres can only just make it to the end of this race, you have to wonder how. We're only on lap 22, of course. How the mediums will. So these guys are going to have to stop again. So Skills Dan, the longer he can stay out, and they will be screaming right now as Rose moves up into second. Absolutely burns David Barry while David Barry was having a look at the back of Rose. One of them. Absolutely. For you. Well freaking done, boy. So Rose second place. He's finally making his way back to pole. Can he make the move on Skills Dan? Skills Dan, 21 laps he's done now on those hard compound tyres, and they will be screaming for reprieve. They'll be screaming to have a break, like the children that work in my garment factory. Screaming to just be given 5 minutes to rest. But like I am with my garment making children, Skills Dan says no. I'm keeping them on, and I'm going to keep going as long as I possibly can, because what I really want is a free pit stop from a safety car. Either that, or I've just forgotten that I have to pit, or he's trying to hold on long enough to run to the end on soft compound grippy boots. But how long can he hold him off? That's the problem. If Rose does get a bit of clear air, we know that Rose is capable of pulling out big gaps. And he makes that move, and to be fair, he makes it look relatively easy. But they are side by side. Skills Dan with the inside line does try and hold him off. Can he hold him off? No, he can't. He's going to have to slot him behind. That's a job well done. And Skills Dan is giving it the old,
oh shit.
As he starts to drop into the loving arms of David Barry, who swallows him whole and says thank you very much, and he moves up into second place. And
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So Rose in the lead from David Barry. Skills down in third. Blanks in fourth place. Remember, they were 1-2 earlier in this race. 22 laps now on those hard compound tyres for Skills Dan. Only Panda has gone so long on those tyres. But Blanks 18 laps now on the medium compound tyre. Let's have a look from the back of the pack. Let's not include me because I shouldn't be involved. We have lost Prostituta, Lee Craig and Cameron Poulter from this race already. Lap 23. We've got 13 laps left to go. Good haul so far. We've only lost 3. Paul Jones Jr. is at the back of the pack, ahead of Explicit Simo. Sorry, behind Explicit Simo, should I say. Ahead of me. 29 seconds behind Simo. So Tyson, Explicit's brother, they were born, it's been said, in test tubes next to each other on the banks of the river that runs through the village of Nuremberg in Germany. That's not true in the slightest. Wasted in 13th place as Vroom moves down to 13th. Wasted moves up to 12th place. Behind Komzar, 5 seconds behind Komzar, who is only half a second back from Panda, looking to try and improve his position, chasing down a car that's used those tyres for a long time. 23 laps. Skills Dan wasn't even brave enough to go 23 laps. He went in. He's come back out in 9th place, but we'll run now to the end of this race. 3.7 seconds is the gap to Ozan to Fan. 3.3 seconds behind Dusty Fakes, currently third in the championship. 2 places higher than the guy currently second in the championship, and neither of them will want to be in this position. Now those guys, Blanks, David Barry, Rose, out in front on the medium compound tyres. We'll get there in a minute. They are going to have to pit again. Abso-frickin-lutely they are. Zach Johnson, Naismith, Death Peacock and Dusty Fakes, Ozanti Fan. They've done 13 laps on those hard compound tyres. Panda's done 24 laps already on those hard compound tyres, but is sinking through the order like a very fat man in quicksand. And should probably. And there is Death Peacock into the wall.
I crashed.
You crashed! How are you coming fast?
You can't park that there, mate.
Is back up and running, but was so far ahead of Panda that hasn't lost any positions really. Back in 9th now with Panda in 10th place. Skills Dan, it says 1 lap back, but that cannot be true. It cannot be true. I say to you, it cannot be true. Dr. Seuss wrote that. Or was it Dr. Sue? Rose, 14 laps on those medium compound tyres, and did exactly what I thought he would. He got out in the lead, has built a gap of 1.6 seconds over David Barry. David Barry qualified up there. He's still up there. He's getting involved. Rose, of course, was the pole sitter. Skills Dan puts in the fastest lap of the race. That's a 1:18.9.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words.
And your fastest lap, because you've stolen that point from whoever had it before. I don't know who it was. I wasn't really paying attention, to be fair. Zach Johnson in 4th place and Naismith in 5th. Dusty Fakes is running in 6th position. 14 laps on those tyres. I'm worried, very worried for the long-term health of Blanks. And I'll tell you why, because he's done 21 laps on tyres that Skills Dan, on more worn tyres than Skills Dan was prepared to do on the hard. I've completely fucked that sentence up, haven't I? He's done it on medium. Skills Dan didn't even do that. Well, did just more than that on the hards. But he's coming in anyway, so ignore that absolute rambling nonsense. Rose leads this race, 15 laps on those hard compound tyres. That is a car being lapped, I imagine. I think it's Paul Jones Jr. That is being lapped at the back there. Let's have a little looky-see at Oh, so I was going to say, let's have a look at Skills Dan. Penalties I wanted to look at. Skills Dan is doing fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. And he is up now to 6th place. David Barry, 3-second penalty. Won't affect him. It finishes as it is now. Won't affect him. He is 4.7 seconds clear of Zach Johnson. Ozan Tufan with 9 seconds worth of penalties. That will drop him behind, just behind. In fact, at the moment, he's not going to fall behind Panda just because. Actually, he'll be behind. Yeah, be behind Panda, but ahead of Blanks, I think. I can't, it involves doing some math, doesn't it? But they're both going to lose places. Wasted will move up. He'll move up 3 places if they drop those. If they don't drop those penalties before the end of this race. Simo will lose nothing. Comsar's too far behind, 8.3 seconds. 9-second penalty for the other explicit. That's the Tyson one. And that's 9 seconds worth of penalties. But, again, won't lose out because Paul Jones Jr., the drummer for Death Peacock, is in 16 and a half seconds back from them. And, of course, I'm at the back of the pack. Absolutely smashing this shit. You get me. Genuinely going faster than I've ever driven anything ever apart from my mum's Cosworth when I was 15. But the less we talk about that, the better. Rose still leads the way. 2.3 seconds now. And with David Barry carrying a 3-second penalty, he's in a really comfortable position. I say comfortable, but he has done about 6.5 million laps, give or take, on those medium titles, 16 to be entirely exact. There is absolutely, I'm saying there's no way he can take it to the end of this race, but then some people have taken the hards pretty far. I mean, Panda's done 27 laps on those hard compound tyres. But we've got our first soft tyre runner, and that's Blanks. Blanks comes out of the pits behind his teammate, 5.2 seconds behind his teammate, and he's going to run to the end on the soft compound tyres. This is either utter genius, or it's not. How much extra pace is there in the soft tyre over the medium in comparison to how much grip you start to lose? Well, he's already gone fastest. That's a 1:18.3 for Blanks. And to put it in comparison, the fastest lap in the race so far is 3 seconds off the qualifying time. And just breezing past that dickhead at the back in the Haas, I think that's me. Still in 7th place. We've got 1.7 seconds now is the gap between Skills Dan and Dusty Fakes, and 4.9 between Blanks and Skills Dan. Rose leads the way, 17 laps now on those tyres. Surely he and David Barry cannot be taking those mediums to the end of this race. Lap 29 of 35. They've still got to do 7 laps, well, this and 6 more, on these tyres. So 6 laps when they cross the line on these tyres. 28 laps Panda's done on the hards, but Panda's not really setting the world on fire in terms of pace. 1.5 seconds behind Simo, is still on the road, of course, but it's bravery personified. 28 laps now on those hard compound tyres. I would be incredibly impressed if they make it to the end of this race on that set of tyres. Same with Rose and David Barry. I will be very impressed. Another fastest lap, of course, from Blanks, which is just going to close down on Skills Dan. Skills Dan will want to jump Dusty Fakes at some stage, but not in a gay way. We just want to get past him, and hopefully Naismith, Zach Johnson, David Barry and Rose as well, if he can. But otherwise he's just going to have to accept 6th place. Not sure if 6th there's enough points to give him a comfortable lead in the championship before next week. Anything short, actually, really, of first place here is squeaky bum time, because he's going to want a big enough gap that it's not going to be a relatively easy job for Chuckle to close it down. And he'll want to make sure that he only needs to be within a couple of places of him, and that's Paul Jones Jr. being lapped by all of those cars currently running. And they're all running really close together. You've got Naismith 8.5 seconds back from Zach Johnson. But then it's Dusty Fakes, it's Skills Down, it's Blanks. All vying for that. I mean, I know Blanks at the minute is 2.6 behind. But, you know, a lap and a half ago, that was a lot less than that. That was a lot more than that, should I say. That was in 5.5 seconds. I've got to keep my throat wet because I'm not losing my voice. I've still got a race to do this evening. LNR. We've got 4 races. Silverstone. See if I can remember. Silverstone, Baku, Imola and Catalonia. Just a little sort of fun thingy pre-season tournament before the season starts next week. That'll be season 7, of course, starting for them. So it is Rose leads away 1.5 seconds. He's on old. Those tyres are so old that if they lived in my house, I'd put them in a home. David Barry, same age on those tyres, 1.5 seconds back, but they're running really, really well there in a minute. Zach Johnson in 3rd position, 6 seconds back, but he's in no man's land. He hasn't got to worry about anything behind. It's because I'm brilliant. I can race and talk at the same time. It's because if I didn't click spectator mode and then jumped out, so it assigned me a car and basically just stuck. It stuck Lewis Hamilton in it. That's why he's last. Lewis Hamilton's driving around in it like a big fat knob, being last and being shit and just being a general knob. Zach Johnson is, I know the hards are really lasting, but then some of the mediums. I mean, the mediums done 20 laps here. If the mediums did 20 laps, why don't they just go medium soft? Rose leading 1.1 seconds to David Barry. Zach Johnson 20 laps on those hard compound tyres. 6.2 seconds is the gap, and it's quite comfortable. I'm just taking that to my daughter. Good night. If I see you again, I'm going to have you murdered. Naismith is in 4th place, 8.2 seconds back. He's got a lot of work to do. Or rely on Zach Johnson crashing the car in order to claim that podium position. Dusty Fakes would love to get a podium, as would Skills Down behind. 9/10 of a second, Dusty Fakes is behind. Blanks is dropping. He's on the soft compound tyres, but he is dropping down the order. And
you can't park that there, mate.
Yeah, you can't at all.
I crashed. You crashed? How are you coming fast?
Now you're coming fast, man. That's why you crashed. He's way down in 12th, so that charge to beat his teammate, I think, is well and truly over. And again, it looks like he's clearly got no wing, because that's the only reason he would be driving like he had died behind the wheel if he had no front wing to keep him on the racetrack. And Panda finally gave up on those hard compound tyres, is on the softs and closing very quickly on the stricken blanks. Well, in fact, he's now ahead of the stricken blanks, as I think soon might be some other drivers if he doesn't pull his freaking finger out. Chuckle. I can't believe you didn't race tonight, man. You missed this. I was going to give you that while you did, well, I went round to an art lap. I'm acutely aware you might be too young to even remember that, but it happens. So, good running so far. Rose, though, leading the way 1.1 seconds. Just a couple of laps remaining for him. Those tyres are not going to be in the best of conditions, but he just has to keep it on the road. David Barry in a very, very similar position. Tyres-wise, 1.2 seconds back. But either of these two lose it just once. This is the thing. Even if they do lose it, you've got Zach Johnson, you've got Naismith doing a great job for Haas, by the way, in 4th place. You've got Dusty Fakes in 5th doing a really good job as well. He's currently 3rd in the championship and will be closing down the gap. Where is Skills Dan? He's down in 11th place. He's got in the pits again for some more soft compound tyres. So not gone too well. Not gone too well for him at all. He is way down in top. Bearing in mind that at one stage, Skills Dan has led this race and he had the full 51 points in his pocket. Now he's down in 11th, and there's not going to be enough points to close the gap on the absent Chuckle. Well, he's absent, but he's there. He's I'm driving your car for you, mate. If you notice, I forgot to press the spectator button before the race started. I was too busy fiddling with my settings, and then then the race started to dive out. So technically, you are finishing the race in 16th, or your car is anyway. I probably should have driven around and then played your theme tune. I'm actually, to be fair, I'm absolutely gutted. It took me nearly an hour to do that, right? To find the thing and then make sure I had a copyright thing and all that bullshit, and then record it and then cut it and then put it on the video and everything. And then you didn't freaking turn up. I was gutted. Blank's down in 13th. He was running in 2nd behind Skills Dan, and now look at them. 14th is Paul Jones Jr. and 15th is me. Rose leads the way. This is the final lap of the race. He's in Sector 2. He is 1 second clear of David Barry. There's no more DRS to be had apart from maybe a little bit to cross the line, but it's not going to be enough, surely. And, I called out at the beginning of this race that Rose was one to look out for. And despite the fact that he pitted crazy early, unnecessarily, I thought at the time. But, to be fair, I did it for the lols, mate. I did it for the comedy value. That's it. That was it. I was just disappointed when you didn't turn up. Well, I played it anyway. Is this David Barry making a move on Rose? He is. As we come round the final turn, David Barry nicks the win here from Rose and takes that checkered flag. But I think Rose actually does win in the end because David Barry had a penalty. So all that drama, and Rose actually takes it. David Barry 2nd, 3rd for Zach Johnson. Naismith, good points for Haas coming home in 4th. That'll be great for the Constructors' Championship. Dusty Fakes in 5th place. That'll be great for 3rd in the Championship. Ozantu Fan, 23 laps on those hard tyres, comes home in 6th. With Simo just behind him in 7th. Komzar in 8th place. Wasted in 9th. Vroom will be 10th position. Will he keep 10th? Because Skills Dad is right on him. No, Skills Dad makes that move. He gets round him up into 10th. So he does salvage something from his race. Not a great deal. But finishes in 10th position in the end. 11th for Vroom. Pounder is 12th. 13th for Paul Jones Jr. And by some freak of nature, I managed to finish in 14th position. But there is your winner. That's Rose. He comes home in the leading position. So he takes pole. He takes the win. Driver of the day is Naismith. And that was a great race from Naismith in the Haas to grab some great points. So there we go. Job done and dusted. Got to dive off and do LNR in a minute, but I think we should try and get a quick interview in if we can. So I'm going to jump into Discord now, and I'm going to try and grab some drivers and have a little chatty chat with them. Let me see if I can find some drivers. Back very quickly with possibly some drivers to talk to. Can you hear me, dude? Don't think you can, actually. Hang on. Rose, can you hear me, mate? Maybe not. Maybe it's not working then. I thought it might have been, but clearly I've still got something to do to get this working properly. I thought I had the this all set up and doing well, but nothing is showing up in the chatty chat for some reason. Just gonna double check.
Look, he dived someone and then that caused it.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
No?
I can hear you now, yeah.
You can. Okay. Took me some time to get that working. How was that, guys? It was alright, wasn't it? Not a bad race.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
Hey, bro, to be fair, you say it was horrifying, but you didn't do too badly.
Yeah, man. I don't know how I won that.
David, you did a great job and you qualified really well and you were still in and amongst it. Right at the end, everybody else was kind of flitting between 1st and 10th and all the way around, but you were pretty much in there for the whole race.
Yeah, it was quite tricky, you know. Rose is just talented. Like, he's too fast for my liking. Like, it's annoying that I got the 3-second penalty because, you know, I didn't know his tyres were going to go off at the end though. Well, P2, I'll take it.
I know, you got me all excited and you made the big move and then I realised you had a penalty and it was all for nothing. It was all the he's taking it on the line, but actually he's got fuck all, to be fair.
But for me, it's like I just want to, like, I always like to fight people on track. I don't like even if he had time penalty ahead of me, it wouldn't be fair. Like, I'd rather just beat him on track because I think that's more satisfying.
Absolutely, because people will always remember the overtake, won't they? They're not going to necessarily remember that he beat you because of a penalty. They'll remember that you overtook him on the last corner. And to be fair, that's more likely to get in the highlights reel than him jumping you again because of a penalty.
Yeah, very much.
So how do you feel about going into the last? I mean, you guys don't race that often on Tuesdays, do you? So for you to win this I suppose, a bit of a moot point really, because you're going to get a few points, but you're not really in this competition, are you? All you've done is basically taken points away from the guys that are.
Me, yeah. No, to be honest, I just heard it was Hungary today, and I was like, you know what? I like the track, so I may as well just race.
Yeah, do a good job. I mean, to be fair, I thought Skills Dan, he was in first, and I thought all he's got to do is stay first, and it's big points for him. He could have jumped Chuckle in the championship, but now a lot of work to do next week now at Imola, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's going to be hard. You racing Thursday?
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. So I've got to jump off because I've got another broadcast to do. I will catch you Thursday. Thanks for joining me, guys. Great racing. Really enjoyed this one. And it would have been slightly better if I hadn't forgotten to click spectator mode and put a random car on the fucking track.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking, wait, what's going on? Why is he on track and he's driving as well? Is he not commentating today? But,
I'm 99% sure. I'm going to check back the stream. I'm 99% sure that I clicked spectator, and then I must have picked my control up and turned it back off again. But the irony is, right, I've got all this fucking new gear, right, and I've got it all fucking set up, and I've got my stream deck and everything all brilliant, and it's all working perfectly. And the one thing I fuck up is the one thing you have to remember to do. But I've never been accused of being a professional, and I don't want to start that happening now.
Still time.
It's been awesome. Well, I'm sure that me and you'll be speaking again on Thursday, Rose. But
hopefully,
brilliant racing, guys, and thanks for chatting to me.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
There we go. Done and dusted. That's another race out of the way for Smoking Pirellis. We go into the final week with Skills Dan not quite where he would have liked to have been at the end of this race. But we are off because it is time for the Season 7 pre-season special for Late Night Racing. And that will be here in about 8 minutes' time. So all that's left to say is I've been Owen Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing TV with Smoking Pirellis, and it's been emotional.